Students, a very good morning to all of you and welcome to the class once again. This is Dr. Sanjana Sharma. Today we are going to begin a new poet, A.K.Ramanujan. Let us first come to know about his life and his achievement. A.K. Ramanujan was a very distinguished Indian English poet who was born in the year 1929 in Mysore. His father and mother had literary tastes which had deep impact on his childhood sensibility. Students, his father was a professor of mathematics, but he had a keen interest in English, Tamil, and Sanskrit literature. His mother also loved Tamil and Kannada novels. His grandfather, he was well versed in folk tales. So, as a child, Ramanujan had a taste of different literatures and languages. Ramanujan received his early education at Bhanumayya's High School, and from there he proceeded to Maharaja College, Mysore. From this college, he obtained his degree of BA and MA. In the year 1958-59, he was a fellow at Deccan College, Pune. After some time, he earned the Fulbright Fellowship and joined the Indiana University in United States of America for his PhD course for 2 years. In the year 1962, and some resources say that it was the year 1963 that he completed his PhD. After the completion of his PhD, he came back to India and started teaching at various colleges. He taught at Quilon, Belgaum, and also in a college of Baroda. After that, he shifted to USA once again on a teaching assignments offered by the University of Chicago. His outstanding contributions in the realm of literature brought him Padma Shri from the Government of India in the year 1976. His achievements won him a MacArthur Genius Grant in America in the year 1983. Ramanujan, during his lifetime, wrote great poetry, and he published 3 volumes of poetry in his lifetime. And these volumes are The Strides. The Strides was published in the year 1966. The second was Relations. It came out in the year 1973. And the last one was Second Sight. Students, this was published by, all these volumes were published by Oxford University Press. And the Second Sight, it was published in the year 1986. He has also published his poems in various prestigious journals and periodicals. Periodicals and journals like Illustrated Weekly of India, Poetry, The Atlantic Monthly, London Magazine, the Chicago Review, the New York Times have published his poems. His first volume, Strides, was a great success. It brought him name and fame. His second volume, that was published in the year 1971, Relations, Poems, it largely dwells on the poet's personal contacts, family members, and blood relations. It unmistakably brings out his acute sense of our hoary past and Indian history. The third and last volume of Ramanujan's poem, entitled Second Sight, displays poet's deeper awareness of Indian myths and legends, Indian history, and her glorious past, her varied customs and rituals, India's philosophy and ways of life are also get depicted through this volume entitled Second Sight. This last volume contains some very interesting poems like Extended Family, Love Poem for a Wife Under Trees, Elements of Composition, Son to Father to Son, A Minor Sacrifice, Jew Gardens Revisited are some of the best poems that have been included in this volume. And these poems tells us that the poet is heavily inclined towards all that is Indian, including his Indian associations and Hindu gods and goddesses. Students, A.K. Ramanujan has done a tremendous task of translation as well. We know that translation is a very difficult task and one has to muster all resources linguistic, literary, technical, and cultural at one's command to do a good job. Ramanujan's book of translations are 15 poems from a classical Tamil anthology that was published in 1965, The Interior Landscape, 1967, No Lotus in the Novel, 1969, Speaking of Shiva in the year 1972, Samskara in 1976, and Poems of Love and War in 1985. These books are of varying length and qualities, and they show translators' concerns for promoting the Dravidian culture and language in the Western countries, a task that he has done with great success. Samskara, or Right for a Dead Man, is a novel written in Kannada by Professor U.R. Ananthamurthy, a talented creative writer of Gandhian ideology. The novel was originally written in Kannada in 1965, and later on a film was made on this novel in the year 1970. According to Ramanujan, his comments about this novel is that U.R. Ananthamurthy's Samskara is an important novel of the 60s. It is a religious novella about a decaying Brahmin colony in a Karnataka village, an allegory rich in realistic details. Another significant work of translation by A.K. Ramanujan is Hymns for the Drowning. It was published in the year 1981. Poems of Love and War, published in 1985, is a stupendous work of translation from the four anthologies of classical Tamil literature. Students, this brief survey of Ramanujan's life and his achievements establishes the truth that he was a genuine poet of refined taste and a prolific translator of the two ancient languages of India, Tamil and Kannada. His poetry confirms his position as a genius, and his translations bring him out as a mighty interpreter of the soul of India to the West. On both counts, he has contributed his best. Students, this much for today. We will continue with his poems in our next class. Thank you very much.